The year 1066 remains one of the most pivotal in English history, marked by the dramatic conquest of England by William, Duke of Normandy, and his coronation as king on December 25. This event not only ended Anglo-Saxon rule but also initiated profound changes in English society, governance, and culture. William's rise to power was the culmination of a complex chain of events involving claims to the English throne, decisive military action, and political maneuvering. The Battle of Hastings, how William won the throne of England. The Battle of Hastings in 1066 stands as one of the most significant moments in English history, marking the end of Anglo-Saxon rule and the dawn of Norman control. William, Duke of Normandy, claimed victory against Harold Godwinson, the newly crowned King of England, and subsequently ascended the English throne. How did William manage to secure his triumph? Let's explore the events leading to the battle, key strategies employed, and the long-lasting consequences that followed. The succession crisis and the contenders for the throne. The death of King Edward the Confessor in January 1066 triggered a fierce struggle for the English crown. Edward died without a direct heir, leaving the throne contested among several powerful figures. The Witan, a council of nobles, elected Harold Godwinson, the Earl of Wessex, as king. Harold's swift coronation demonstrated the English nobility's desire for stability, as they feared external claims could disrupt the realm. However, Harold's ascension to the throne did not go unchallenged. Across the English Channel, William of Normandy asserted that Edward had promised him the throne years earlier. William's claim was further strengthened by an oath he claimed Harold had sworn in 1064, pledging to support William's future succession. Harold's later denial of the oath was seen by William as a betrayal and an act of treachery. Adding to the tension, Harold Hardrada, the King of Norway, also claimed the English throne, believing that an old agreement gave him a legitimate right. The three-way contest for power, between Harold Godwinson, William of Normandy, and Harold Hardrada, plunged England into a period of instability. Harold now faced the daunting task of defending his crown from multiple fronts. The Battle of Stamford Bridge, Harold's early victory. In September 1066, Harold Godwinson first had to confront the threat from the north. Harold Hardrada launched an invasion, landing with a large force in Yorkshire. Harold responded quickly, leading his army north to engage the Norwegians at the Battle of Stamford Bridge. There, the English achieved a decisive victory, killing Hardrada and scattering his forces. However, the battle came at a heavy cost. Many of Harold's soldiers were exhausted, and valuable time had been lost. This victory, though significant, left Harold's army ill-prepared for William's invasion. Just days after the victory at Stamford Bridge, news arrived that William's fleet had landed on the southern coast of England. Harold now faced a perilous situation, forced to march his weary troops south to confront a fresh Norman army. William's preparations for invasion. William of Normandy meticulously prepared for his invasion. He gathered a coalition of Norman, Breton, and French forces, building a fleet to cross the English Channel. His army was diverse and well-trained, consisting of heavily armored knights, infantry, and archers. Unlike Harold's forces, which were composed mainly of foot soldiers, William's army featured cavalry, an advantage that would prove decisive during the battle. Before setting sail, William secured the support of the Pope, framing his campaign as a holy mission to reclaim a stolen crown. The papal endorsement not only bolstered his legitimacy but also attracted soldiers eager to fight under a banner of divine approval. With favorable winds at last, William launched his fleet, landing at Pevensey in late September. His forces began constructing defensive positions while awaiting Harold's arrival. The march south, Harold's gamble. Harold Godwinson's decision to march south with his army was a bold but risky move. His troops, tired from the recent battle against Hardrada, had little time to recover. Despite these challenges, Harold hoped to surprise William and repel the invaders quickly. On October 13, 1066, Harold's forces arrived near Hastings, where the two armies would soon clash in a battle that would determine the future of England. The Battle of Hastings, Strategy and Key Moments. The Battle of Hastings took place on October 14, 1066, near what is now the town of Battle. Harold's army adopted the traditional English tactic of forming a shield wall, a defensive formation where soldiers stood side by side, locking their shields to create an impenetrable barrier. This tactic had served the English well in previous battles, but it required discipline to maintain throughout a prolonged fight. William's forces, however, were more versatile. His army included cavalry, a significant advantage over Harold's infantry-based force, and skilled archers who softened the enemy lines from a distance. Early in the battle, William's cavalry attempted to break through the English shield wall but were repelled. However, the Normans soon employed a brilliant maneuver that would turn the tide of the battle, the feigned retreat. At key moments, sections of William's cavalry pretended to flee in panic, luring parts of the English army into a disorganized pursuit. Once the English lines were broken, the Normans turned and attacked, exploiting the gaps in the shield wall. This tactic proved devastating, weakening the English defenses and exposing them to further attacks. As the battle wore on, the deaths of Harold's brothers further diminished English morale. The Norman archers, sensing an opportunity, launched devastating volleys of arrows, thinning the English ranks. According to legend, Harold himself was struck in the eye by an arrow, though this account remains debated. Regardless of the exact circumstances, Harold's death was a turning point. Leaderless and demoralized, the English army collapsed, leaving William victorious. The aftermath and consequences of William's victory. With Harold dead and his army defeated, William faced little resistance on his path to the throne. He advanced towards London, where many nobles, recognizing the futility of further resistance, submitted to his authority. On Christmas Day, 1066, William was crowned King of England at Westminster Abbey, marking the beginning of Norman rule. The consequences of William's victory at Hastings were profound and far-reaching. The Anglo-Saxon aristocracy was largely replaced by Norman lords, who took control of vast estates. William introduced the feudal system, binding peasants to the land under the control of Norman nobility. This restructuring of society created a clear hierarchy, with William and his loyal barons at the top. Culturally, Norman rule brought significant changes. Norman French became the language of the court and governance, influencing the development of the English language. Over time, the fusion of Anglo-Saxon and Norman elements would give rise to Middle English, a precursor to the modern language. Politically, William worked to consolidate his power by building castles throughout England, including the iconic Tower of London. These fortresses not only served as military strongholds but also as symbols of Norman dominance. To ensure efficient governance, William commissioned the Domesday Book in 1086, a comprehensive survey of England's land and resources, which helped streamline taxation and administration. Legacy. The Battle of Hastings was a watershed moment that altered the course of English history. William's tactical brilliance, combined with Harold's strategic missteps, ensured the Norman victory. The use of diverse military tactics, including cavalry charges and the feigned retreat, proved decisive on the battlefield. Harold's reliance on the static shield wall ultimately failed against the more mobile and disciplined Norman forces. William's victory not only secured his claim to the throne but also ushered in a new era of cultural transformation. Under Norman rule, England underwent profound changes in language, governance, and society, laying the foundations for the country's future development. The battle's significance cannot be overstated. It marked the end of Anglo-Saxon England and the beginning of a new chapter in the nation's history. The events of 1066 continue to captivate historians and enthusiasts alike, serving as a reminder of how a single battle can reshape the destiny of a nation. The Battle of Hastings remains a testament to the power of strategy, leadership, and determination in the pursuit of political power. If you enjoyed this account of the Battle of Hastings, be sure to share your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe to Medieval Chronicles 1066 for more engaging content about the most transformative moments in medieval history. Stay curious.